Welcome back to another episode of the Dreamers to Doers podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Birkbeck, and I'm joined again around the table with my beautiful friends, Taylor Quintini and Jeffie Jones. I love this episode so much because truly it's everything I would have loved to hear as my younger self, but it's also what I still needed to hear today. And so honestly, this episode is for everyone. We are sharing the hard-won wisdom we wish we had known and the truth we hope that the next generation of young women will carry with them. This is a conversation about the lies our younger selves started to believe and what we wished we knew back then. So whether you're a mentor, a mama, a teacher, or just a woman with some hard-won wisdom in your bones, this conversation is sure to remind you that your voice matters too, and that your story will speak. And I want you guys to stick around because this Doers Challenge at the end of the episode, it's really good and I highly recommend doing it. You don't have to have it all together or all figured out to offer wisdom. You just have to be willing to share it. Welcome back to the Dreamers to Doers podcast. This one is beyond exciting. I might have said that at the opening of every single episode because I like them all, obviously. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. But this is a little fun, extra, just a spin on something special that we actually started in the first season. We would ask all of our guests, hey, Jeffie, what would you tell yourself 10 years ago or your younger self? And so this episode is Dear Younger Me, the wisdom we wish we knew and why we are passing it on. So this might be an episode that you want to pass to your daughter or your younger sister or someone that could glean from this, essentially our mistakes and all of the things that we're
a
learning.
wise woman that gleans from others.
Yeah. And all of the things that we're kind of learning on the journey. And so I'm just going to dive us in and get us started and say, ladies, what would you tell the younger you if she was sitting right across this table? I'd be like, girl, perimenopause is on its way. You better buckle up.
Get on you.
It's going to get on you real quick. You better buckle up, buttercup.
Okay, this sounds really
I'm just
simple.
kidding.
This sounds
It's okay.
super
It's gonna
simple,
be
but I'm
fine.
just going to share a story that ministered to me in the moment. And again, like it continues to minister to me throughout the years. But I remember I was meeting with a girl, I was discipling a girl at the time and going through a really tough season in my life with my kids, with just disappointment. And I remember her looking at me and feeling like at that time I had nothing to give to her. And I remember her looking at me and saying, it's going to be okay. And I was so, I just remember it took me back like to this reality of I'm going to be okay. Like I believed it. I actually believed it's going to be okay. And if I could look at myself, 10, 20 years back, I would tell my younger self, you're going to be okay. And it sounds so simple, but sometimes just reminding you're going to be okay. God's going to get you through this. And I mean, there's going to be more practical things I would share, but even just that assurance, like if God is for you, who is going to be against you? And just reminding yourself, because there's so much worry, there's so much chatter that we listen to and we let in our minds, but just to remember, you're going to be okay. Right. We're going to get through this. So
I just sense that that's something that you're saying is so simple, but I really think that's just going to stop someone right in their tracks wherever they're at right now, because that's what they needed to hear.
I feel like a lot of my 20s and 30s were very filled with trying to figure my life out, in different seasons, like always looking for the next season, always looking for, well, what does God have? And then my life will start. And so I remember when, I was single, like thinking about getting married and how that was all going to work out, when that was all going to work out. And then when we would have kids and, how that would work out, how that would look, where we would work, what kind of job. And I think what happens is when you're always looking to the next season, I mean, you already know because you've heard this, but you miss the danger of like enjoying the present, and missing out on what God's doing today. But it also breeds just such discontentment. And so, kind of to your point of girl's gonna be okay. Girl's gonna work out.
Yeah. It's gonna work out, little Taylor.
And it's like, and most likely not in the way you're thinking, hoping, praying for, waiting on. But most often when you walk with the Lord and trust in the Lord, even better.
Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, who knew you would go from struggling through infertility to having 5 babies?
Yes.
If you could have seen.
Yes.
Just a glimpse.
Yes. And I laugh because we use this scripture at Refresh Lot, but Ephesians 3:20, like that's what I think about when I think of having 5 kids. I was an only child and I wanted a big family, but my definition of a big family was 3. I was like, that is massive. 3 people, us 2, that's a lot. And so, it's like he does far greater above all we could ask, think, or imagine. And that's not to say everyone's story turns out that way.
Right.
But
or that's the only part of your story because you're still in the process of waiting on things.
But I was sharing this, at dinner the other night with you guys. It is funny because turning the page on 40, I have felt such a grace to be content and to maybe focus on where my feet are planted right now in this season. And, especially as a young person, I feel like young people get a lot of questions asked of them.
Yes.
Oh, you're engaged. When are you getting married?
Yeah.
Oh, you're married. When are you having a baby? You're graduating high school. Where are you going to college?
Like, I mean, they could be like in 8th grade. Where are you thinking about going to school?
In
college.
When are you taking the ACT, Asher? Like, it just...
That's really true, Taylor.
People throw that on you, and then I think if you internalize that and let that get... You're like, oh, gosh. I'm behind. And it will breed discontentment if you allowed it. And so I think even people's well-meaning intentions sometimes, I let get on me.
Get on you.
Get on me. And breed discontentment.
But that's so powerful because nobody's asking me what's next.
Right.
When I turned 40, they weren't like, so girl, when you have your next baby, like, what you doing now? I mean, that's not the question. They're like, you're going to take a little bit more time to rest? That's a great point.
That is a great point.
That can really breed that.
Living in contentment.
I wish I knew that. Dang. Listen.
Well, and I love too that, before Jesus goes away, he tells his disciples also, like, I'm going to be with you to the very end. I'm going to give you some stuff you're going to need to know. And by the way, I'm going to be with you till the very end. And I'm going to be with you in the phase where you're not having babies yet. I'm going to be with you in the phase of you're transitioning into, whatever it is, life with 5 kids. And just that he's going to be so present in every moment and every facet of our life. And I do believe there's this tendency when you're in your 20s or 30s just to worry. Like there's just a lot of your life that's just consumed with worry and what ifs. And, and I wish I could tell my younger self, just take a breath and believe what God has said. And I mean, I would tell myself, don't stop cultivating your relationship in the secret place with the Lord. I mean, that has been my anchor, and it will continue to be my anchor until I meet face to face, is that I have established an intimacy with Jesus that will not leave forever. Like this is what it's all around.
But also going back to, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
And knowing that, like we talked about these mile markers of toddlers and then preteens and teenagers, and equally, I think it's part of this is a part of our 20s and 30s of like this angst to figure out. And so even identifying your season and knowing that that's something that you're going to, you don't have to live with, but you can, that's a battle that you might need to be aware of. That's probably part of that season that we're all now identifying, like, and wish we knew.
I even think reminding myself, like, our steps are ordered by the Lord. We were talking about last night at dinner, this movie. I have not seen it, so I feel bad when I'm like, have you seen this movie I've never seen, but I've just heard about it? But the concept is really, but it's called Sliding Doors. And also, if this is a bad movie, please don't. Please
Oh my
don't.
gosh, Jeffie, I've seen that movie.
And here's the concept.
There's a nude scene in it.
Don't
just
judge.
kidding. I've not seen it.
But the whole concept is like how the trajectory of her life would have been different if she got in the bus or if she missed the bus.
Yeah.
And it's like her life, you know, and I do believe if we look at our life, there are things that God either spared us from or saved us from that we have no idea.
It's true.
How God has taken care and ordered our steps.
Absolutely.
But we just don't understand. Even our disappointments, like things that are disappointing you now could actually be what's catapulting you into what God has for you next.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wish I could tell my younger self.
I'm like, it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay.
We promise.
Well, let me just quickly say on the thought of God ordering our steps, which we all hear and we know, but I was just sharing this, like every single thing in my life and my husband's life that God has brought forth, where we work, our friendships, every single thing has been out of a relationship. Out of cultivating a relationship with another person. We never once applied for a job in a newspaper, you know? Like Jeremy living in Orlando and working was because James became his roommate in Dallas at Bible school. This guy from England. And, you know, I mean, just crazy how one divine meeting, one divine connection, and this is why it's so important who you're in alignment with. Your friends are your future, okay?
Yeah. I'd tell younger Sarah that.
Come on, girl.
Watch out.
So it's like you can't miss out on the fact that maybe that next step God has ordered, you haven't met that person yet. And then in a moment, it all changes. It's one phone call. It's one conversation. It's one alignment of, hey, we both want to start a business. Okay, let's go. Like whatever it might be. And these things that maybe that are already breeding in your heart by God, they're just not there yet to actually step into. And we trust him and he orders our steps and will bring us into the right community, alignment, all the things.
Can I make a note on that? Because I think for us, that was maybe an easier thing to do. In our generation, we didn't have
right.
Yeah, you're right. We were living in the very real world. But this generation coming up, even the college students right now, man, I really feel for them. It's really hard to build community because this is a generation that has grown up online. And a lot of them really lack even just the skills it takes to be in community, to have friendships, to be in relationships. And so just an encouragement too, to just live life outside, live life in real life, you know, be intentional about looking for relationships and looking for community. And that's really good. It's a little harder for y'all this year, but it is important to be intentional about that.
We have a friend. I feel like we've mentioned Jamie on this podcast. Like I don't know, like 5 times.
All roads lead back to Jamie Schlegel.
Legit, she has
precious.
like an anointing to connect.
She really does.
You know, she really does.
I always see
Shout
that,
out
like
to
the
Jamie.
weeds, the webs weave.
Well, we're friends because of her.
Yes,
because
she connected us.
Yeah, because
that
we
was
had a
so
knee
awkward
issue.
Just kidding. I mean,
it didn't even make a whole lot of sense why Sarah was calling me.
it didn't make sense to me either. But I was like, if Jamie's telling me to do it, I'm going to do it because I trust her.
We just talked about your knee, and I'm not really sure what happened.
I don't know. I was like, I think I need to tell you about
You got to work past the awkwardness.
To Taylor's point, like Sarah and I met, and I do think, I mean, we're fast forward, I don't know, 7 years, and we're here today around the table. Part of, I believe, a ministry that God is like anointed to go forth to, you know, to several hundreds of women, you know, maybe more. And our husbands are now and work together. You know, you just never know, like you said, the appointments God has for you with just a single meeting. Just to be open to that.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I think if I was sitting here and little Sarah Helena was sitting across from me, I would just say find the pace of his presence.
It's good.
And you always say that his cross is not fragile. And that's been a line that you've used a lot, but I was thinking about that his timing is not fragile either.
Yes.
And I feel like that is a really hard thing to hear
from an older person to a younger person. And trust me when I say that, because I feel like people would say that to me, like older women ahead of me, or, just, hey, just take it easy, enjoy. I'll never forget walking through the grocery store with all 4 of my kids. Just also younger Sarah, just don't take them to the grocery store together. I even tell them now, I'm like, guys, I am never bringing you back to they just drive me absolutely. I mean, you got one in the cart, one in the main cart. You have nowhere for your groceries. You've got one on the hip, and the other one's just grabbing cereal from the sugar bottom row. And, old ladies walking by and just enjoy this. It's all going to go so fast, and I'm thinking, so great for you to say that right now, But
what about, are they all yours?
Yeah, I get that all the time. All 4 of them. Okay. And, just understanding that I think putting that in context is, I'm just the kind of person, again, we've kind of been over this about being a visionary and a pioneer. And so I am constantly full of ideas and dreams and thoughts and vision for my future and our future. And so when you are in a season where you don't have a whole lot of time to put towards those things, then all of a sudden you're met with frustration.
Right.
And that's what's, I'm just letting sit with me, as just this frustration, because I'm not seeing the things unfold. I'm not seeing the things play out the way I've seen them in my spirit, and just in the last several years, I just felt like the Lord ushering me into and sweetly just reminding me to settle into the season, not with complacency, but with confidence in what He's called me to and where He's called me. That, girl, it's gonna work out. It's gonna unfold when it needs to. But right now, you have a 14-year-old.
Yes.
And so if you're not seeing what you think you would have seen by now, even with Refresh, like there's been disappointment around that time and time again, whether it's, in all honesty, whether it's around numbers or the podcast didn't go as far as I thought it was going to go, and I've just sensed in these last few years, I'm just settled in, and I am like, He holds my destiny, and His timing is not fragile, and I don't need to overcompensate to try to make or manufacture something to happen in my life.
Yes.
When I've got a whole season where, guess what? This gives me a little bit more opportunity to pour into my preteen kids now,
Absolutely. Yeah, that is a great little piggyback for me, because Carolina, sit down, sister. I think for me, and obviously I would echo so much of what all of you have said, because I think it's struggled with all the things. But I think for me, I would say specifically, be okay with being quiet, and learning the power of silence, not just internally with myself and the self-doubt and the self-sabotaging, but with speaking out everything that you're downloading. And again, also very visionary, big idea, lots of ideas all the time. And sometimes God will show me things that are not for right now and they're for later, and I will self-sabotage because I just get super excited, and I know it's so exciting, and I just start telling everyone and everything, and the idea is premature. And I read this the other day, and it said, maybe the reason your garden isn't growing is because you keep picking the fruit prematurely to prove you're a gardener.
Whoa.
And that thing stopped me in my tracks, because I am such a chatty, and I get super excited, and I want to tell everyone the vision and the dream. And here's the reality, is that one, not everyone is meant to hear what you have to say.
Right.
There can be some very real, even spiritual implications of you opening your mouth, and what monitoring spirits are listening and going to be sabotaging your plans. Now God is sovereign, and He will bring things to pass. But I think we have a responsibility to carry that and to hide that well. And then get to the root of why you feel the need to tell everyone everything. If you're seeking external validation for the things you're listening and the ideas and the visions that God's put in your life, we got a problem.
Well, and you say it out loud, and all of a sudden there's like this mini pressure to pick the fruit to prove you're a gardener.
100%.
And now it's like, it's going to happen. Like, this is, I did hear this from the Lord. Like, I can see this. I know this is going to happen, but now you feel this need to prove it to other people.
Yes, because you've said
and
it.
it's not the timing yet.
And it's just not how God, and so now you're making it happen with fear-based decisions, with prematurely, with things that, and you try to make it come to pass in ways that it wasn't even, manipulation, so many different aspects. And so I would go back to that. And that's something that I'm even now like, be quiet, be okay with being quiet. And I want to say all the things and I want to share all the details. And I'm learning that this is a discipline for myself. And I want to pull out here even Proverbs is so good, you guys. It's so good. But Proverbs 17:18 says, the one who has knowledge restrains his words, and one who keeps a cool head is a person of understanding. Even a fool is considered wise when he keeps silent, discerning when he seals his lips.
Very good. So good. Sarah, I've heard you say so many times, what's meant for you won't pass you by.
Yes.
And if you really know God has given you something, whether it's a vision or a plan or something, to be able to trust that that will come in its time. And I mean, it reminds me of Abraham with Isaac and Ishmael. It's like, we do not have to force something because it will not pass us by if it was truly meant for our lives. Yes, there has to be a place of surrender, but I do think you're ambitious in your 20s and 30s. And there is like a pressure, like you said, of like all these decisions in these 2 decades are going to like form the rest of my life.
Right.
And that feels really weighty. But I think the hiddenness in the place of quiet and even just meditation on what have you been speaking, Lord, can be such a tool in your tool belt that I would tell my younger self too. You don't have to prove anything. You can wait and see the salvation of the Lord, the goodness of God, and the land of, I mean, all the things. So,
which is hard to do.
It's hard to do
in a setting where, you know, the instant, everybody's got to see what you're doing, what you're up to. We're documenting, we're documenting every moment of our lives, and we see everybody else putting their stuff out. Well, I got to put my stuff out there, and it's such a lie.
And I think we have to have some mind shifts of that waiting is not wasting, and stillness is not always stagnation. And so we're all going to be tempted to hustle and to manufacture moments or to prove ourselves that we can do it. And it is a situation a lot of times in your 20s and 30s that you do have a little bit more ambition. And I talked about this a lot too and I wish I had grace for myself feeling those things, because again, I think that's part of your season that you're in those years. And also if you're in bearing, like children bearing years where you're growing a family, every time we had a kid, it was like our life was not settled because we always knew we would probably have another one. I mean, you can't fully plan that, but we desired another one. So it was like I could never settle even in my mind, because it was like then the next one came. And then our life looked totally different. And then I'm recalibrating and replanning, and my life looks different. I don't know, like, I can't go to Bible studies anymore. And this, you know, and then I had a third one, and then everything changed again. And so it wasn't until we had our fourth, and all of a sudden it was about a year in, and I thought, I feel more settled because I can think about next year, and I know I have like this settling feeling, because I actually know what it's going to look like. So there's some practical stuff about that angst that you go through as you're growing your family or in that season, and being okay with that too. And knowing like there's grace for you're going through a lot. There's changes are happening every 2 years for you if you're having kids.
And I'll say, Sarah, to that, it's like we also need to give a grace to women in general, that when you have all these life changes and this unsettling you're talking about, I think it's very different for women than men.
Yes.
I mean, men are having babies and oftentimes going back to work and back to
That's right.
their life that is their normal. It's settled.
Yeah.
They might be a little aggravated their sleep got disrupted, but it is different for a woman. And it's kind of a lie to lump just us together in that category. I think it is a little bit more gender specific, where as women, we feel this disruption and unsettling and, you know, what my life used to look like in my 20s and all the freedom I had of going anywhere I want, wherever I pleased, has been stripped from me.
Yeah. Right.
And I have to adjust to this new normal, that's not what I have right now in this season. And so I do think that's why the Bible's clear in Titus 2. Most of you probably know this, but let the older women teach the younger women. And there's always been this relational discipleship model.
Yes.
And for all of us, it's very wise to grab a hold of someone older,
That's
a
right.
season ahead of you. It is gold to be able to call another mom and go, you've got older kids than me. What did you do at this point? You know, what, can you tell me anything? Can you pray with me? Because I think I might die. Like, you know, and just to have that, and it kind of goes back to what you're saying, Carolina, like the need for community.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we also have to realize we don't know everything. The feelings are valid if you feel unsettled, but we have to seek wisdom in that from above, from God, but also from Christian, you know, women that we can trust, and maybe ask and make the awkward call. Hey, I need mentorship in my life.
Yes.
I need counsel. I need wisdom. I need prayer. Like, can you be that for me?
It's really good. I was even thinking, like, in your 20s and 30s to tell, well, what I would tell myself too is like, what's the goal of your life?
Yeah.
Like, what is it all truly about? Remember that. Because I do think there is this, I have to do all these things and I have to be involved in this and this and this. And, you know, there are times where the Lord asks you to edit. I'm using that word because I just recently had this precious woman who owns this company, and she came in. We had to move out of our house and completely out of our house, and so she went through with me all my drawers, and she just we literally took everything out of my house, all my pantry stuff, everything. There was one girl who went and just looked at all the expired items. You would not believe if y'all did that. Some of y'all might. It really is. It's a huge job. But you realize how much you've kept in your life that is expired. It's like, it's time to go. It needs to be trashed.
Gonna preach.
That's gonna preach, girl.
It is. And I think in your 20s and 30s, you can start adding a lot in your life and try to put a lot. And by the time you get into your late 30s, 40s, you're realizing, I cannot have all of this and stay sane and like stay at peace on the inside. And asking the Holy Spirit to help you edit your, you know, even like your friend circle. If you like reaching out, asking the Lord to highlight maybe an older woman that's ahead of you. God, who am I called to align with? I know we've talked a lot about alignment, I feel like in these episodes, but I think it really is God's heart for this season of time, because so much takes our attention. And so who we're aligned with, who we're paying attention to, it matters. And really just asking yourself, what has stayed in my life that really needs to be edited out?
That's good.
It's not the same, like, use
And I
as it
think
used to.
all of these seem to be pointing back to intentionality.
Yes.
And I think another thing that I still struggle with this of, I think we could really bury in busyness what the Lord has intended us to plant with intentionality. And or really even seeing it like this: are you planted or are you buried? And I think you can bury yourself under a lot of things. But what you plant, you actually have to tend to and be intentional about, and it is placed in with, and that's like, you know, practically it's your calendar. It's like we're saying, find someone ahead of you to take to coffee and talk about what would you say to your younger self, and getting discipled from someone. And and I need that. I'm in a season where I'm asking the Lord for some people ahead of me that will disciple me and speak into my life. But that's going to take intentionality for me to make that happen and make that connection and and be purposeful in that.
And vulnerability to look at yourself honestly and say, hey, here's where I'm really at. Because then some people, they get the mentor, but then they're like, everything's fine. We're perfect. I mean, I want to talk to you, but we're good.
Or honestly, there's a lot of people that want advice, but they don't want to listen. They don't want to hear the hard thing that someone thinks they should do or try. You know what I mean? And you have to be open to correction, to teaching, to training, because that's what refines you. You know, if you want to be this like athlete, you hire a coach.
That's right.
And your coach tells you, you better cut this out of your diet. You better wake up at this time. You better go to bed. You better train, work hard, you know, all this stuff. And you listen because you want to reach that goal.
Right.
So our Doers Challenge to you this week is one that we probably all just did here around the table, but we want you to go and sit down and write your younger self, however old you are, a short letter. You could even do a voice memo. How fun is that?
I love it.
And just talk to your younger self like we just did and see what would come out. And honestly, you may type something up and that could be for someone else in your life and send that to someone that is younger than you and encourage them with what you would tell your younger self. So this has been really sweet, guys. I love this one.